Hi, so welcome to this session. I'm planning to work on machine learning using unstructured data. Unstructured data such as text or voice, images, videos, even though images can also be worked in a structured way, and translation and so forth. So what I'm trying to do with these examples is to show another way of running machine learning that is not with tables. And I'm going to use, the function AutoML by Google Cloud. There are many tools out there. I think that this is one of the easiest to work with. That's why I chose this particular one. And also, so far it's been working well for 2 years. So I like to use it. Now, it doesn't mean that this is the only tool that you're gonna find for doing the same thing. In the last trimester, in a course named Analysis of Consumer Decisions, we use this using a tool called SAS Enterprise Miner to be more specific. But so there are pros and cons, and this is a cloud-based platform that is very much designed for managing big data. Is very user-friendly and is also very powerful. Now, in here in this first video, we'll as usual, I'm going to record a series of. So I want to start from using a clean canvas this time. So as you can see here, I will show you the different projects I have. One of the things I do often is that I delete the projects when I finish working with them. So that's a practice I have developed. I either shut down the project when I don't need it. So I can click here, shut down, or I just keep it, So let me shut this down. It's very important that you don't leave the projects running. You don't need them anymore. So here I'm going to shut down this. It was an example. I did, actually, it was last year. I did on accessing the Walmart data set. All right, so let me go back to the dashboard and I'm going to select the project. So this time I created a new one. So, however, I wanted to show number one that if you are no longer working with the project, you should delete the project. Just so you don't have resources being used. Now, I'll show you also the previous project I was working with. There is the Yelp the so far, in spite that I use this for teaching, and I teach two sections, online and a regular one. I have done machine learning, data cleaning, and so far there is no money. I have spent zero money with it. In other words, the resources I have used are minimum for this. Uh, so that will give you an idea how much it costs to do this in real time. It's not cheap, but I believe it's quite affordable. Now, I decided for the natural language processing to just create a new project, just to keep things clean and separate. So, you know, there will be a homework using the Yelp data set. So I just wanted to just probably uh, create a different one. First things I have to do is I have to make sure that I activate the billing for it, and I also activate the resources that I need to. So one of the things I have to do first for this is I want to go to the navigation options, and I will activate what is called the AutoML API that I need for this to start working with my project. So last time we did tables, so now I'm gonna use API with I believe we did vision already. As you can see, there are just more services just being created. This I will call them off the shelf, and there is a new one called data labeling that we might be exploring for future courses. I don't think we're gonna have time to explain this, but this is a way for creating labels automatically out of massive data sets. But so let's go to natural language first and make sure that I need to make sure that I have it enable. Otherwise, I can't be working with this for the exercise, so I need to activate APIs. So by activating them, you activate the billing, and everything gets synchronized. Now remember this: I'm going to use that as well, but I have to make sure that the buckets are within the same project. If not, I need to go and make sure that the permissions are given so I am able to use them separately. I prefer to keep everything within the same project. Yeah. So now this is the first screen. So we're gonna do. I'm not sure how many examples we can run in the class. So my idea will be to do a text classification and a sentiment analysis, at least in class. So there are more things that we can do. I'll probably explain that in our classes and in our class, sorry. But this thing just keep growing and growing and growing, which on one hand is good. Now, on the other hand, so we have already this created. So in the future video, I'm gonna start with sentiment analysis and with text classification. Now, another thing that I need is, of course, I need data for this. So let's go where we have the storage. So I'm going to create a bucket. So you can do this typically with the bucket. You can do you can probably use BigQuery as well. So I would rather just work with a regular bucket for this. Okay, so I'm gonna click browse. Remember, I'm in the same project. Yeah, natural language is a I just created. So I will just create a bucket with it within, and so let me call this Amazon. So our example is going to be about Amazon reviews, and I have to put a number because there are many ones there. So I put this. You're going to select a different number, otherwise you won't be able to run. Now, in an ideal world, you should run on every region, and I should pick the region that is closest to mine. So because I don't know yet, I will click multi-regional, and then if I need to move this bucket to a specific region because of limitation with the version of the software that I'm working with, then I will do that later. So I'm gonna just create it, and then the next step is to upload the files. So I put in Blackboard the file for the Amazon reviews. So let me go where that is. Let's see, a few ones. This one, yeah. The Definity Amazon Consumer Reviews. The Definity is a company. This is a small data set. The original one has 500,000 records. Amazon, if you go straight to Amazon, the data set from Amazon is bigger than that. I haven't used the entire data sets, to be honest. I prefer to work with data sets that are in Kaggle, but I found that it's a bigger data set for Amazon reviews straight from Amazon. And I guess it will be really easy to work within the Amazon web services. But so I don't want to overcomplicate it. So I got this data set from Kaggle. The company is called Datafinity, but I got it from Kaggle.com, and there were three versions for Amazon reviews. There was one with 500,000 records, and I chose one that is right in the middle. So it's not that big. So we can do this in class, hopefully without delays. But there are bigger data sets. Also, remember that if you see me during these videos and during class exercises working with data sets that technically are not big data, it's not because I'm doing something funny. It's because I just want these exercises to run within a specific time slot. So in the case of a class, I realize that I have like 30 minutes for the exercise. So do machine learning, explaining, and give technical support to students that are falling behind. So within 30 minutes, it's a challenge, and it requires me to work with a smaller data set. Also for the homework, especially for the last homework, I definitely chose something that was not big data at all, but I did it because that was the only way for me to ensure that you can do machine learning more than once and in a relatively short period of time. And I think it worked okay. But in a real case scenario, what you're gonna get are records or data set with millions or billions of records. So be prepared. In a real case scenario, real life scenario, it's not gonna be that easy. And when I mean that easy, I mean like short. It's not gonna be that quick. It will take more time. All right. So now I have the data set created. So 250 megabytes. It's not a lot. Let's see how it works. And so that's what I need to. I'm gonna record a second video with the steps that are required for the text classification number one and then number two for the sentiment analysis.